everyone, and welcome to Overtime. When President Trump first announced he was going to be making changes to the White House, we all expected some changes. Many presidents have made changes to the White House. These changes have to go through a historical preservation society. We're going to talk about that in a few minutes. But the changes have included, for example, adding a bowling alley in the basement, turning the tennis court into a basketball court, and so on and so forth. We saw him make some modest changes in his first tenure as president. He installed new fencing. Since he has been there his second time, he has made some much more significant changes, including but not limited to paving over the entire Rose Garden, which has been there. It's a historical feature of the White House, and the callousness to the United States, or this country's history, with which he just paved over the entire thing was quite shocking. So when he said he was going to add a ballroom, everybody was concerned. In his first initial discussion of it, he said that the ballroom was never going to touch any part of the White House. He wasn't going to touch the White House. It was going to be just outside the East Wing. He was, quote, not going to touch the building. Let me see. When the project was announced, Trump assured he, quote, wouldn't interfere with the current building. It'll be near, but not touching it, he said. Now, whether or not he meant this at the time, my suspicion is it's hard to tell whether he just doesn't care or what he means. But we learned shortly the gleefulness with which he realized that he could do basically whatever he wanted. He announced last week, as he was talking about the construction that was about to begin, that this was much easier than building in New York. Quote, they said, sir, you can start tonight. I said, what are you talking about? They said, you have zero zoning conditions. Not true. You're the president of... I said, you've got to be kidding. He said, sir, the White House, you're the president of the United States. You can do anything you want. This is typical Trump horseshit, and isn't true. The Historical Society has to approve any changes made. He has argued that the licensing required is actually only for addition, not for demolition. He can demo anything he wants to. He just can't build vertically. That is not true. He cannot make any changes without legal... I think it's two separate organizations. We'll get into it in a second. Having said that, he decided to just begin anyway. On Tuesday, I think is when he began demolition of the East Wing. He said, and so let's do quickly just sort of a picture. This is the White House, so you can see what we're talking about. The West Wing is basically the most famous part. You can see just to the right of the West Wing, that's where the Rose Garden was. If we were to see this on satellite now, that green square or rectangle would all be white. It's been paved over. You can see the hallways, which we're going to talk about in a minute, that go to the White House residence. And then you can see the East Wing. The demolition work, this was the original proposal. He finally, not the original, but he admitted yesterday that they were going to actually cut into the East Wing to attach it physically to the rest of the White House. But they were only going to take out the facade. Now, the facade is essentially where the parking is. So if you take a look at this picture of it here, they were going to just cut out that where people can drive in and park and get into the White House from the East Wing. So just the facade, just that part that's not even structurally, it's not supporting the building at all. So they were going to cut that out, cut out the wall, and build into that. Now, I'd like to point out that as of this moment, The plans for this ballroom do not exist in any government facility that I am aware of. He has not submitted to any organization the plans for what he's building. He has said he's building a ballroom. Maybe not. The original size of the ballroom was supposed to cater to roughly 600 people. He has said that he has decided to expand it to 1,000. In order to do 1,000, you're going to need a 60,000 square foot building. 60,000. By comparison, the residence of the White House, the main center part that most people see, is less than 50,000. That means this ballroom will dwarf the remaining structure. If it goes according to what he said this Tuesday, it will dwarf the remaining structure. As he had originally been talking about it, Chief of Staff 𝐍𝐢𝐜𝐴𝐻 said that Trump and the White House were, quote, fully committed to working with the appropriate organizations to preserve the special history of the White House. There is no evidence that any of that has been done. The National Trust for Historic Preservation, which is a congressionally chartered nonprofit tasked with preserving old buildings, including the White House, has told Trump that he needs to stop the demolition until he can go through the legal process with them and the required public review process before making any changes to the White House. The Society for Architectural Historians has said that this building does not, to the best of anyone's knowledge, have any design or review process that they have seen. They have not heard of Trump going out and finding any architects. You know, he always finds the best, biggest, and the best. He has not, there is no named architect for the building. Nobody knows who's building it. Nobody knows where the funding is coming from. He has said that it is going to be him and a bunch of his friends. But that doesn't instill me with any real confidence. I know who his friends are. I know the president thinks thinks very highly of this commission, and I'm excited for us to play a role in this when it is appropriate to do so, said the National Capital Planning Commission, but they say that they have not been involved in any way whatsoever to this point, which again is they are required by law to be involved. Trump has, or not Trump, his press secretary has said, no, they are you don't need to involve them for demolition, only for actual building, and since they haven't actually built anything yet, they haven't filed any of the necessary paperwork. That obviously, too, is horse shit, because there's a process even for the President of the United States, and the paperwork would have to go through, and it would take some time. He's submitted no plans. He's submitted, he hasn't requested any approval. So what's he going to do? Demolition the entire East Wing, and then it's going to sit there for 6 months while he gets approval to build? That doesn't make any sense. Correction, I said 60,000 earlier. So the facility at this point, based on Trump's description of what the design is, the facility is estimated to be roughly 90,000 square feet. Having said that, the main White House building, the residency that we showed earlier, let me show this again. The White House residence is 55,000 square feet. So this thing will be nearly double the size of the White House residence. That's going to be the ballroom. Now that, just knowing Trump, is something he's not going to tolerate. He's not going to want to live in the smaller building than the bigger one. This is a picture of the East Wing as they've been demolishing it. Now, they started with the facade, and again on Monday and Tuesday said that it was only the facade that was going to be taken out. On Wednesday, they said that they would need... Oh, well, I'm sorry. No, it was Tuesday because today is Wednesday. Yeah. Duh. Yesterday, they started cutting into the rest of the building. They cut into roughly... Oh, and again, you can see here, there's the facade that they were going to take out. They cut now roughly half into the East Wing. The problem is all of the damage that they're doing, and Trump is a builder, so he knows this. They haven't reinforced the remaining half of the East Wing. What that means is they have no intention of saving that part of the East Wing. In fact, it is already past saving, while they have only made their way through half of the East Wing. The remaining half is no longer structurally sound. It's standing, but it is essentially already destroyed. The entire building is, for all intents and purposes, destroyed. They simply haven't finished taking it down yet. Again, normally in a project like this, if you intended to save half the building, you would have to structurally support that half, and you would cut very deliberately at very specific points where you would then carve out. They have done none of that work. You can see this demolition has not been with a scalpel, but with a very, very large backhoe. And every architect, everybody who's looked at this says that from the beginning it is crystal clear they had no intention of saving any of this building, and they are deliberately destroying the entirety of the East Wing. And again, even though half of the East Wing is still standing, what we've been told is structurally it is no longer sound because they did not do this demolition properly in order to save it. So the entire East Wing is gone. It's destroyed. If they decided now to stop the project, they cannot repair the damage done and rebuild the East Wing. The East Wing has to be completely demolished, and then the entire East Wing has to be demolished and then rebuilt if that's what they choose to do. Again, it looks like they're going to build what has turned into, from a $200 million project, Trump has said now this week, it is risen to $300 million, a capacity of 1,000 people, and will be roughly twice the size of the White House. He has also said that they're going to construct a glass walkway from this building to the White House, another thing that was not originally mentioned. So before we get into the rest of this, let me point something out to you. Trump is huge on incrementalism. He starts very small and builds his way up. This was projected to be, as Trump had said from the beginning, a building that was going to be outside the East Wing and a reasonably small ballroom. He then said they would connect it to the East Wing through the facade. They'd have to take the facade down and then connect it to the East Wing. They then said such a connection was not possible, much to their surprise. He's a builder. He didn't have engineers check this out beforehand. They didn't realize beforehand that this thing that he's building that nobody has seen, that isn't on file at the town hall, doesn't exist anywhere that we've seen. He's a builder. How many buildings has he made? Isn't that his specialty? And nobody checked to see if they could attach the ballroom to the East Wing through the facade? No. He's lying. They deliberately said the facade only. First, they said they weren't even going to damage any of the building. Trump promised that several months back repeatedly. Then it was only the facade. Once the facade was gone, they said, ooh, we are going to have to take half of the East Wing. But by the way in which they've been demolishing that half, there is no way at this point to save any of the East Wing. It's gone. It's going to, and they have admitted just today, earlier, a few hours ago, this is what brought it to breaking, was a few hours ago, Trump has admitted the entire East Wing has to go. So the remaining half of the structure will be gone within a couple of days. Again, it's already not structurally sound. It's unrecoverable. It's been destroyed. They just haven't taken it down yet. So, but then he's going to stop. He's going to put up this structure that nobody's seen. Nobody knows who built it. Nobody knows who's funding it. Nobody knows anything about it. No. We don't know what construction workers he's using. We haven't seen the blueprints. Who was the architect? And he hasn't filed with any of the regulatory commissions, of which there's 2 that he's required to and a 3rd that he's supposed to consult. They're all like, they've never heard of this. This just is happening. Now he says he's gonna rebuild the walkway, and you can see again here. So there's the walkway from the East Wing to the residence. Again, here you can see just the facade where he was going to start. The entire East Wing is now, half of it's been demolished. The other half will be gone by the end of the week. The whole East Wing is destroyed. And he said he's going to build a glass walkway from the East Wing to the White House. Well, wait a minute. Where is he going to put it? The only thing he can do is demolish the walkway that's already there. And when he tries to connect the glass walkway to the residency, is it going to be able to connect? Because the ballroom wasn't able to connect to the East Wing. So if he can't get a ballroom to connect to the East Wing without demolishing the entire East Wing, how's he going to get a beautiful state-of-the-art glass walkway from that ballroom to connect to the residency without demolishing at least just the facade of the residence, or maybe a part, just a small bite out of the residency? No, at this point, I'm calling it, as Bregwin said, I'm calling it, he's going to destroy the White House. It's my firm belief that Donald J. Trump has every intention at this point of demolishing the entire White House. He has had an incrementalist approach to things in the past, and especially when people aren't going to like it, he keeps things very, very close to the chest. We don't even have plans for what he's going to build. He hasn't filed them anywhere. So it's just his word that what he was going to build couldn't connect to the East Wing. Of course it could connect. We can land a man on the moon, but we can't build his perfect ballroom and connect it to the East Wing? Are you kidding me? Are you joking? Of course it could connect. We're reasonably smart. I know he thinks all Americans are dumb. He certainly treats Americans as dumb. And for whatever reason, a good deal of his base actually appreciates being treated that way. I'm not kidding. Yes, I do know why, but I'm not going to get into it right now. Having said that, it is my firm belief, it's the firm belief of a number of people on In Time, and Bregwin, who called it first, Trump's taking the whole White House. It will be gone before the end of the year. I'm calling it. That's what he's going to do. That's what it looks like. And by the way, again, so far the destruction has been so catastrophic and so, I forget what the word is that you would use, but because he's just using a bulldozer, because he's not trying to save any of the building and keep it intact, at some point either he's going to start trying to save some of the structure. Is it going to be at the walkway? Is it going to be at the residence? Is it going to be at the West Wing? But as I said before, I don't think if this thing is going to be 90,000 square feet, which is 40,000 square feet more than the residence. So this thing is going to dwarf the residence. You think he's going to stay in a residence that's smaller than the building next to it? No, not Donald J. Trump. This is Mar-a-Lago North. And he was described by CNN as giddy over the realization that he could, quote, do whatever he wants without any of the red tape that he had in New York. And he explicitly compared it to the red tape in New York. No permits, no nothing. He can do whatever he wants. He's taking the White House. All of it, it's going to be gone. That's my conclusion. That's it. That's what we're saying. That's what I see from the evidence in front of me. This is a satellite photo of everything that we're talking about. The two buildings that look like eights that you can see are office spaces designed for most of the staff. They are not part of the White House. You can then see the White House. It is made up of three buildings and two walkways that connect it. Oh, wait a minute. I'm not used to being able to do this here. We are going to give this a shot. There you go. So this, let's see here. This right here is, and we'll see if we can bring that up. There, I just circled in blue. Maybe make that. Let's change the color to red. There we go. So this right here is the where the Oval Office is. It is the west wing of the White House. This is the residency right here. The ballroom was originally going to be somewhere here or here or here. How you do that without blocking the street, I don't know. Again, the big 8 to the right is all the workspace for all of the staffers. If you take a look at this, by the way, let's highlight that in a different color. I'm going to do this in yellow. This is where the Rose Garden used to be, and it is now completely paved over. He has demolished, by this point, half of the east wing is gone. All of this part right here has been completely demolished, and the rest can't be saved. They just literally cut into it. It's no longer structurally sound, so it would have to be demoed either way. So this whole building is now gone. That's 1/3 of the White House gone as of now. So what happens next? Well, the ballroom that he's going to put in is going to be about what 3/5 this over the size of the White House. So it's going to be this huge ballroom, presumably right here. And he's going to stop there? Really? That's what's going to happen? No. I think his next target is going to be obviously the residency right there, and he's going to rebuild that, and then he's finally going to get to the Oval Office. But as of this moment, nothing seems to be. And CNN called into question whether or not it's going to be really as big as he says, because he always exaggerates so much. Well, I agree that's true. The size of the demolition suggests to me that the question isn't, and he keeps upping the size. No, I think he's really thinking big here. He wants to, and again, this is the demolition of and you can see there's no. It's proceeding so rapidly. There's no way to save any of what's there. The Guardian has been talking about it as well. Caroline Leavitt, White House press secretary, told Fox News yesterday, there's a lot of fake outrage right there right now. While many presidents have dreamt about this, it's actually President Trump who is actually, yes, she used the word actually twice in one sentence, son of a. It's actually President Trump who is actually doing something about it, actually. And he is the builder in chief. Yeah, then how is it he didn't know he couldn't connect the ballroom? He's the liar, and oh my God. In large part, he was reelected to this people's house. The people's house is Congress. It's half of Congress. It's the House of Representatives. Oh my God, she doesn't even know the branches of government. He was reelected to this people's house because he is good at building things. Oh my God, she doesn't know the branches of government. Well, that's okay. We're short a branch anyway at this point. Let's see. He was elected to the people's house because he is good at building things, Levitt said, noting that many presidents have made changes to the White House. Yes, we talked about those changes. Critics have pointed out that he had said over the summer new construction would not affect the old building. It won't interfere, quote from Donald Trump, it won't interfere with the current building. It'll be near it, but not touching it. And I will pay total respect. It pays total respect to the existing building, which I'm the biggest fan of. So that's where we stand. Let's see, a letter, the Tuesday, the White House received a letter from the National Trust Historic Preservation Society that said that the demolition plans themselves, that he was incorrect, and that the demolition plans were legally required to go through review, which he had not done. They asked him to stop the demolition immediately and follow the legal process. Quote, "We are deeply concerned that the massing height of the proposed new construction will overwhelm the White House itself. It is 55,000 square feet and may also permanently disrupt carefully balanced classical design of the White House with two smaller and lower east and west wings." Yeah, this thing is going to be 90,000 square feet. 90,000 square feet. Getting close to double the size of the White House is what he's building. Let's see. I will check the live chat in 1 minute. Trump today told NBC that, yes, indeed, the entire East Wing had to be demolished. It was no longer structurally sound. Oops. That's a bridge, a glass bridge, that's going to go from the White House to the Ballroom. It's going to be probably the finest ballroom ever built, and it is being paid for 100% by me and some friends of mine. That again, that really does not, yeah, that does not, that does not instill me with confidence. So that's it. As of earlier this morning, Trump has confirmed the entire East Wing has to be demolished. They've already destroyed half of it. The remaining structure is not sound because there were no attempts made to preserve it. So while the narrative that Trump said today is, well, we found out we're going to have to take out the whole... No. That was the intent from the beginning, at least according to every builder who has looked at this, because there were no attempts made to shore up the structure as they cut it in half and pulled out half of it. So, yeah, that's it. And again, I think he's looking at that we're calling it. He's going to take out the entire White House. So that's what we think. That's my pitch for it, and I think I'm right. I think the White House is going to be going. Let me check with the live chat, and then we'll call it a show. We just wanted to update you with what we know and what appears to. I mean, it's. I feel the White House has not yet been destroyed, but I think it's inevitable. I think that's what he's planning. I think everything indicates that. And certainly the destruction of the entire East Wing, which we learned today, was necessary, given how he did this. But again, it was the plan from the beginning. So the East Wing to the White House is, for all intents and purposes, gone. They confirmed today it will take a couple of days to finish the demo on it. He has followed none of the procedures. He has not notified any of the required organizations which have demanded that he stop this illegal construction. And he is refusing. I think one of the reasons he hasn't put anything on paper is because he's going to find a need to continue to do more and more and more and more. So I think this is the beginning of the end for the White House, which is one of the most recognizable buildings on the planet. Pyro, Kurt Brubaker for $2. Didn't have that on my bingo card. I did. I didn't think it was highly likely, but I was just like, at this point, it's up for grabs. It's up for grabs. And I think he's doing it. So thank you, Pyro, for your support. We appreciate that. Let's see, okay, so, I wonder if the Situation Room is under the East Wing or the West Wing. And that's right, and Treasury. Okay, so one of those buildings is actually the Treasury building. There's an underground passage to the Treasury building. I don't know if it's the one on the right or the left, but it has to be the one on the right. So the one on the right is Treasury. And the staffers at Treasury have been told not to take any photos of the construction. They're trying to hide how much construction they're doing. So, and most of you know this, and you'll find the history of this and all of this on our Discord. We follow this, and we keep a news thread going on the Discord. When people first started getting upset just at the destruction of the facade, they put up a wall so nobody could see, and then they told everybody at Treasury nobody's allowed to take pictures of it. So he's lying. He's lying about the whole thing. He's lying about all of his intentions from the beginning. He does not care about the historic nature of the White House. It's not turning Gaza Strip into the Vegas Strip, but he'll get there. He's already said that this should be the biggest, most beautiful building, in the world because of X. I don't know why. Apparently the United States is not powerful if we do not have, and that was his argument for, quote, cleaning up New York. Not New York, sorry, D.C. was, you can't have people come to D.C. and see. So it's kind of a fascist, again, it's this idea that the presentation is more important than the substance, which I've seen very much of Trump. It's why he puts gold on everything. The presentation matters most to him, and I think that's what he's going to do with the White House. Speaking of, this is the patio that he has put in place of the Rose Garden. So this used to be the Rose Garden. The Rose Garden has been destroyed and is now a patio, because that's what this place really needed, was another area to have lunch and meet and do. Okay. And there's Treasury. And you can see the size of, that's the residency on the left there. You can see the size of it. You can see the walkway to it. So that residency is 55,000 square feet. The ballroom is going to be 90,000. 90,000 for a ballroom that we don't need. And you think he's not going to take out the rest of the White House after that? So that's it. Yeah, the other thing he may be... Okay, that was not on my bingo card. He's not... I think Marjorie has it. Oh, I should have talked to her before going to breaking. Yep. I think In Time can report Donald J. Trump is building the largest McDonald's ever in human history. It's a 90,000 square foot McDonald's that will be attached by a glass walkway to the White House. Everything is going to come with extra McRib sauce, and yeah, I think she's called it. So, oh dear Lord, I normally it's laugh or cry. This is what it is. It's wow. I'm having a hard. Yes, I am having, and I've made that mistake before, and I've been corrected before. Um, not it's not Marjorie. It's not. I can't. I'm having a very hard time reading that. All right. Thank you, Titan, for the correction. Apologies. But I think you're right about the McDonald's, and um, so Hein. That's, and you said call me Hein before too. So thank you for the reminder. So Heinz called it. It's a McDonald's. I think that's what it is. That's why he hasn't. That's who built it. The franchise. They've got the franchisers out in the back. They don't know the Qataris. Okay, so here's what it is. No, Saudi Arabia. Okay, so Saudi Arabia is building a McDonald's, a gold McDonald's on wheels that's 90,000 square feet. Now, I don't know how you get a 90,000 square foot McDonald's to like through DC, but I, you know, they probably put a couple jet engines on the thing and just, okay, so it's going to be a McDonald's. We're going to workshop this. All right. Thank you all for joining us. I think I am up to date. I am. And that's it. We're going to keep an eye on it, but we thought you should know that's the way we see it. And either way, the East Wing is basically completely destroyed by this point. They're going to clear it out, and then we'll see what he does next. Your guess is as good as mine. Thank you for joining us. Our next scheduled show is tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern, with Commander Lance McMillan, and looking forward to that. Thank you all for joining us. Have a good night.